in his joint. I hope this is a woman's foot because I'd feel really embarrassed holding a man's foot here.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Master Model Makers. I'm joined here with Big Daddy Bill. My name's Paul Capello, and we got a very special episode for you today. We were fortunate enough to be able to pay a visit to a company called Pulse Plastics, which produces this thing from the thing.
Exactly. Get a load of this thing.
You gotta be f***ing kidding.
What else did they make, Bill, back in the day?
I think they were one of, they've done a lot of things, but you guys probably know them from the Screamin kits from the late 80s and early 90s. And I remember building these kits and never knowing that this factory was in the same precinct that I patrolled as a cop. Shows you what kind of cop I was. It's just as well, because if I would have known that they were building these things in the precinct that I was working in, I probably would have never left the factory. I would have been in there all night like Igor, cranking these things out when I should have been fighting crime.
That's right.
But,
right.
Paul, what did you think about this place?
It's a great factory. I mean, it looks like something out of like the 18th century. It's really like steam is going and there's fires and there's smoke and there's. But you know what? It's strange. There's no odor. I guess this vinyl is non-toxic.
Yeah, it was very weird. You see all this, like you said, turn of the century. It looks like turn of the century machinery. Yeah. With these guys just not saying a word. You could have heard a pin drop in the place other than the machinery, right?
Yeah, it was quiet.
Other than me yelling as well.
That's right.
They really gave us, the 5-cent tour. They gave us a complete showing of everything they had in stock and what they're working on. They're most known for rubber duckies, right?
Yep.
Ducks!
A film crew came in there a few months earlier and did a whole special about their rubber ducky production. And we didn't come out with a rubber ducky. We came out with a little head. But
it's always good to come out with a little head, no matter where you go.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all.
But what we're gonna do is we're gonna play the video. We're gonna sit here, comment on it, run it side by side, so you folks can see a tour of the factory and some of the craziness behind the scenes of what we do every day as master model makers.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to actually look at the footage. We've been busy with a couple other things, so let's take a look at what we got here.
All right, hit it, Bill.
And you're on the. Okay, this is me walking into the place for the first time. It must have been felt like 800 degrees in there.
It was really hot.
And here he is showing us the head.
Yeah, this is actually from John Carpenter's The Thing. This is one of the monsters that turns into, I guess it's the crab head, the best way to describe it.
Yeah, there's actually resin arms that Rob from the Resin Maniacs, I believe, made. We don't have them available.
Right.
And it's actually a pretty great looking kit. And he can actually get you the wig too.
Yeah.
And you can reach out to Rob from the Resin Maniacs to figure out if he still has any of these in stock. I don't know if he's still producing the kit or not.
I don't know.
But
here's the mold.
This is the weirdest mold I've ever seen. It's strange. It's a piece of art in itself.
It really is, and we were trying to explain that to Mr. Backelman there, and he was like, no, what's important is on the inside. And that's all good and well, but if you look at it from the outside, the mold itself is a piece of artwork. I mean, you could display these things in a gallery and people would be like, wow,
right, like some
this is incredible.
Ancient torture device,
It does. It looks like, what was it called, Iron Maiden?
I think that was the Iron Maiden with
it's really strange.
Or the grinder of human heads or whatever. I mean, it's really weird. And even as we were walking around the place.
And it's filthy. This mold is filthy on the outside.
Dirty.
Inside, it's pristine. It's pure nickel. And actually, maybe it's not nickel, maybe it's some sort of alloy, but it's pristine on the inside, but the outside looks like it was created in the 18th century.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
And the whole place was loaded with it. I mean, wherever you looked, there was one of these, crustaceans hanging from the ceiling somewhere.
That's right. And I guess they use the rotary casting method. What they do is they pour the vinyl into these molds. It's in liquid form. They put it into an oven. It rotates and it cures inside there. And then when it gets ready to pull out, they have a guy there pulling them out.
My buddy Mike came to me with a kit that was, several years old that he had laying around in his garage. And it was kind of warped. And I told him he had to heat it up with a hairdryer.
That was the Mars Attachment?
Yeah, the Mars Attacks one, right?
That's right.
Which was probably produced, or actually was produced in this factory,
At Pulse
right
Plastics,
here.
yeah.
At Pulse Plastics in the Boogie Down Bronx. That's 1-800 no. And shameless plug for Pulse Plastics, but
When we went there, they were pulling all sorts of neat things out of the molds. And they had piggy banks, right?
piggy banks, rubber duckies. What else did they have? A couple of feet laying around.
These women's feet that I guess they use as shoe displays.
It reminded me of like a Stanley Kubrick flick where you had to fight in a mannequin factory. It was like all body parts hanging around.
It was. And they had this worker. He was. I guess the vinyl's really soft when it's finally cured.
Oh, it is. It's
and
like
it's hot as heck.
It's like bubble gum.
It is. And he's pulling it out with a pair of pliers. I'm like, it's flesh colored. I'm going, what is that? He goes, and his foot comes out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And
It's
it
like,
was steaming, and I was like, oh man.
and Alan was telling us, he handed it.
So creepy.
It was a hot foot. Let me tell you.
It was a hot foot. I think what's pretty neat seeing the stuff from the Screamin kits. We saw Freddy Krueger. Who else?
Yeah, it was really great to see these kids. Not that I forgot about them, but I haven't worked on one of these in 20 years.
Yeah.
And to see Elvira.
Yeah.
And to see Freddy and Jason and,
Leatherface there.
Yeah, Leatherface. It was just strange to see them, knowing how much I enjoyed making these kits back in the 90s, and actually finding the place where they were created.
Yeah.
And finding out that it was in the same neighborhood that I was a cop was kind of very weird,
Yeah.
and also very full circle, I guess the word is,
and
synchronicity.
synchronicity.
Yeah.
Now, what was that story you had about Elvira?
Oh
and your
yeah,
mom?
I had done an Elvira from Screamin, and it was one of the first kits I ever painted. And when I was done, I took a picture. So here's the picture I was telling you about of the Screamin kid of Elvira. I showed this to my mother, and she thought it was some Italian buttanelle from Morris Park Avenue. I was like, nah, Ma, she's made of plastic like those girls, but not exactly. She really did think this was one of my girlfriends. Bingo, what do you think? Meanwhile, it's a vinyl kit.
You said it was your girlfriend?
I thought it was my girlfriend from Morris Park, like one of the real buttanelles with the big hairstyle. And she came out of
does
Goodfellas.
look like that.
Looks like she came from friggin' Bensonhurst, from friggin' Arthur Avenue,
Well, you painted it so nice, too, so...
Well, I can say one thing. If any of these guys ever want to get a vinyl kit, they should definitely look up Alan.
That's
because
right.
Pulse Plastics is the place to get anything made in vinyl.
So I guess that wraps up this episode of Master Model Makers. Until next time, my name is Paul Capello.
I'm Bill Lappy. Be blessed.
Peace out.
Would you calm down? So, can I get a word? Anybody want a dog? Can I get a word in? Oh, your breath stinks. You been eating that resin candy again? Listen, you look like somebody I know. Somebody who lives in Queens. And now, this is gonna make somebody very, very happy. Oh, Luke! Luke! Let's see if he's scared by what. I got something for you. Come here, you ready? Right here, pal. Oh, go show your mother what I got.